Welcome back to Behind the Roast podcast. I'm your host, Joseph, the show where we go beyond the cup and to the business and the craft of great coffee. Today I'm joined by Unay from Swampwater Roasting, where we break it down what it really takes to build and run a coffee brand. Everything from sourcing and roasting to customer experiences and the day-to-day decisions that keeps quality consistent. If you're a shop owner, roaster, or just serious about great coffee, this episode is for you. Thank you for joining me in this podcast. Unay, just a little introduction about yourself. Let our listeners know about you.
My name is Unay. I'm originally from South America. Was born and raised in Venezuela. Been in the U.S. for 15 years now. U.S. citizen. Been a coffee nerd my entire life. Grew up with coffee. Until 3 years ago, I really got into homemaking coffee. Here we are today, owning a small business and a roasting company, creating videos for social media, working with brands. It's crazy how things have spiraled so quickly over the last 6 months.
I've seen a lot of your brand sponsorship videos, your latte art, and your roasting, showing what your machine looks like, even though you're a micro roaster. What is your plans of expanding?
Obviously, you gotta start somewhere, right? And a buddy of mine got himself a bigger roaster to support his business. So I was like, what are you doing with your old one? He cut me a good deal and I started playing with it. I also met some friends that own a micro roasting business along with a coffee cart business that just happened to show up in Orlando one day. We hang out and I just asked them, is this really worth it? They all told me, do it. You should do it. I had it on my mind already. We do this thing in social media for a reason. We're all trying to monetize it. And I feel like one of the easiest and quickest paths to monetize what we're trying to build in social media is to plan a product.
How's that going?
That's the goal. A lot of my first couple of years was really focused on growing TikTok. And I think that might have been a mistake. I've been lately spending more time in other platforms like Instagram. And it's crazy to see how quickly I'm growing there compared to platform TikTok. I gained over 500 followers in just a month in Instagram.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I've been posting my content both on TikTok and Instagram for about 5 months now. But I didn't start Instagram up until a couple months ago, where I got to a point as a content creator that I knew how to edit a little bit better. So definitely I see a trend on my content now where it's getting a lot more outreach on every single post I do on Instagram. And probably has a lot to do with the partnerships with the brands, because Instagram has this feature where you can tag them as a collaborator and then it gets pushed to their audience.
That's the best way to get your followership, by tagging these brands, especially with all the brand sponsors that you've been doing and then tagging them. It's definitely helping you grow your following pretty fast.
Yeah, I pay great attention on learning how to edit. If I can give anyone trying to do what we do every day any advice, it will definitely be spend some time learning how to edit with the tool you're using. The more you get into the weeds of editing, the easier it becomes. I enjoy editing nowadays. I used to hate it. I think what I hate right now is the part about getting started. But once I'm done, I get the job done in half of the time, and I'm learning also new tricks to make it more appealing to the audience. And more importantly, how to make it appealing to the brands that you're trying to showcase the products. It has always been now having an account that is tailored only for products, right? I don't want to be a product only account. I want to show my content and skills. I like to review gear and I like gear, right? I try to keep it mixed where some days I'll post content that's just content, coffee making. On some days I'll post reviews or product mixed with the content, right? I'm just not trying to make a video about a product and that's it. Even when I'm making products videos, there is still a little bit of coffee making skills on it, right?
When I first started content creation about a year ago, it was a little difficult for me to do the editing. As you get better, it gets easier and you start to know what to edit and what not to edit. And it makes it fast because you're doing it more and more.
Another thing about learning how to cut it, right? For me, if I see a video and it's over 30 seconds, I'm not happy about it, right? It's hard when you film much content and want to show all of that. And it's a combination of cutting stuff out and just trying to keep it to the point, short and simple. It's by far the hardest skill that you have to edit, in my opinion.
Trying to get the first 3 to 5 seconds of hooking those people into getting into your content and liking it and then staying with it and following you through the whole process. That's the hardest part, making sure you're getting those first 3 to 5 seconds. That's how short people's attention spans are when it comes to viewing content. If they don't like it within the first 3 seconds, they're scrolling.
Well, I feel that depends on the platform you're trying to post, because some apps like TikTok might be short. I think Instagram is also a little bit more forgiving on that sense. But yes, definitely hooks are something that I think a lot every day. How am I going to start this video, right? Whether it's a product review, whether it's a content review, how do I make it appealing to the audience? Sometimes it's just by showing me walking into my setup. Sometimes it's by flicking the product at the beginning or unboxing something that will catch your eye and attention. I think we call it the hook, right? And
Yes.
Hooks are not easy. I've created a few videos that have been copied probably over 10, 15 times. It's funny to see that sometimes your ideas that you take hardcore time in order to get to that post, copy over and over in social media. I think that's the real life of a micro influencer, if I can call myself that. But I think the hardest part about it, if I use somebody else's content or try to do something similar to what I've done, I give them credit. But the hardest part is seeing how other creators just straight out copy my content and give me like zero credit. When I see situations like that, I just block them because I want to be copied without even getting gratitude about it. That's just how I feel. Lots of people don't care about that, but I feel like it took time and effort for me to think about that.
Exactly.
And at the minimum, is to get credit for it.
I look at other creators and I try to see what they're doing on their videos, but then do it in my way with my flavor. Everybody uses the same hook or they copy the same hook. And it's just hard. You're trying to get followers, get brand sponsorship, get monetized. You're trying to figure different ways on how you're going to copy this person's stuff that he does because he's getting 100,000 or a million views, but within your style. That's what the whole game is about on TikTok. See what that person has, see what they're doing, do it your way.
People that copy my videos, like the exact clips, the exact transitions, all of it. And that's when I go, okay, you're immediately getting blocked. I don't like blocking people, being honest, but I guess there's a fine line, in my opinion. If you do that once, hey, I'm going to let you know. If you do it twice, hey, you're getting blocked.
Yeah.
It's becoming, as you progress as a creator, a more repetitive thing. A lot of people try to call themselves influencers. I'm just trying to do my thing. I'm trying to grow my business. I'm trying to put good coffee in people's cups if I can. And I also like to show my skills. It took me time to learn what I can do. And I'm still learning every day.
Yeah.
For me, actions mean more than words. I'm
Yeah.
going to show you what I do.
And you got some great videos. I love how you do everything. You're like a master of the latte art because you make that milk so silky. Just looking at it and how effortless you do it, especially on the video, I'm like, damn, I want to do something like that. I know you practice and it took you a long time to get the whole Rossetti and the tulip and the swan designs.
Latte art is such a clutch. It took me almost 8 months just to get the milk right. And it all started with the Rebel Barista Express. I think that's like most people first real espresso entry level machine that they get.
You need to give me a list of all the stuff you use so I can buy.
How much money do you have?
Hey, I will figure a way to purchase the same espresso machine that you have and like your grinder. I have an issue with mine.
Which grinder?
The one you always do.
Nowadays, I don't buy a lot of stuff because I have 6 different pop prep tools just because collabs keep rolling in. I'm trying to help out some of these brands, and it's also good exposure for me. It all starts with one collab, then that turns into two. Those two turn into four. Nowadays, I have to put people on the wait list because I can't keep up. I typically say yes, but it's getting to a point where if I'm not interested in the product, I say no unless they are willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because that's where I want to take it next. If you want me, you got to pay for it.
They're contacting you through email for these collabs and they say, hey, we got something. And you're using Shopify collabs?
A lot of my collabs come through DMs on Instagram. I have my social media email on my account. Sometimes they reach out directly through emails, which makes it easier for me, right?
Yeah.
But most of them, believe it or not, they're direct DMs. I used to DM some brands if I'm interested in something that I want to buy.
Yeah.
But nowadays, they just reach out to me. And the more brands that you work with and the better the content you do for them, the other brands find it eventually. So it's been fun. I was out of town this past weekend, meeting another content creator. We did a little tour in a coffee shop / roastery in Mississippi. Learned a ton about roasting, especially when you take it to the next step, when you go from micro to actual commercial roasting.
Yes.
This dude had a 5-kilo San Francisco massive roaster. I came back from this trip, got into my house, and there were a pile of packages for collabs waiting for me.
Well, they contacted you.
I lost track a long time ago. Nowadays, if I'm accepting something, I'm putting it on a spreadsheet to keep track. But there was a point about 2-3 weeks ago where I said, sure, I'll do that. And now things have spiraled so quick that I just try to be a little more organized. I think that's important when you get into the weeds of collabs. Just try to stay organized because they just keep coming in. I'm excited about a few ones that I'm working on, and there might be some of my first paid ones where it's not just product exchange.
We're going to boost the ads.
Yeah, so there's product exchange collab, right, where you get the product and you make a video for them. They will typically tell you, hey, we want one video for this product, or we want 8 videos. Like I had, one of my first collabs was with Espresso brand. I'm not going to mention their name, but they sent me a machine. It was under $250 and they asked for videos. But being that their machine and their brand is well known in the community, I say yes for the exposure. And they posted every single one of my videos on their platform, which makes me happy. At the same time, I felt like it wasn't worth it. That one collab got me into all the ones that I have now 4 or 5 months out in the row. It all starts with one. Sometimes you have to put yourself in position so that as time passes, you will never put yourself back. You got to start somewhere. I'm actually learning a ton as I go. Nowadays, if I don't want the product and they still reaching out for a collab, I created something that I recommend everyone to do, the social media kit. Many AI platforms nowadays that can link your social media accounts. And that basically shows your analytics to whoever wants to collab with you. You can just text or DM somebody that you want to work with, your social media kit on Instagram. They can see the reach you have for your audience. In mine, it will show the average likes that one of my videos get, the average views that one of my videos get, my average monthly report, and it automatically updates as you keep posting content. So if your content gets better and it reaches more people, then that also gets updated, right? A lot of the social media kits that you do will include your rate sheet. Some of these AI platform will automatically give you a rate. Just ask me so that I can understand better what their collab is about and what they're looking for before I can give them a price. See some creators charging between $350 per video. And if they want the raw file for ads, that's another expense. You as a creator, let them use your raw file, sell your raw file to them, or you can just rent them. A lot of creators, bigger ones, are renting their ads. They will post the video on Instagram if a company wants to run it as ad, but then you have to pay the creator monthly. I've seen people ask as much as $500 a month to use their ads, right? So there's potential to make serious money on the social media game. And I guess that's where I'm trying to grow to at this point. Hasn't been easy. I had no idea what I was doing 2 years ago.
It's
And
all
I
about
still
grinding.
trying to do it.
It's all about grinding. The beginning is going to be hard, but as you keep grinding and put more content out and get better, it starts to blow up for you. It takes
But
time. It's not easy.
it's better to post one video that you spend time on than posting 2 or 3 videos badly edited and then they don't reach anybody.
Yeah.
So quality of it for me is something now that I've learned how to get that editing better because I'm still learning. I was so focused last year into growing. I wanted to hit 5K on TikTok so bad. So I was posting daily 2 videos that were hard edited. And that really took a lot of effort from me. Then I started Swamp Water Roasting Company at the end of November. That alone takes a lot of time, like a lot of my free time, because I'm working my 8 to 5 and creating at least one video for content every day, sometimes more because I also have the business account. But I'm also roasting every day people's orders. So I typically go to bed 2 a.m. every day. It's a really hard grind if you want this life, especially if you want to have a business on the side while still keeping your 8 to 5. My 8 to 5 treats me well. I love what I do, but I think I love coffee even more. If I had to choose something I want to do for the rest of my life, it would probably be brewing. I travel everywhere with coffee and gear. If you see me at an airport, I'll probably have a portable espresso machine with me. It's not simple to keep it all going at the same time until you can make the switch.
Yeah.
And I have a job and make a lot of money, but it's something I'm truly passionate about. One of the reasons I got this machine was because I started getting better pouring latte art, and I just wanted to see what could I do if I could have the machine that will take it to the next step. And obviously, that was also another learning curve. I don't regret it because it got way better, and I'm still learning.
Exactly.
One of the reasons that make me go ahead and for the upgrade is that I suffer from early stage arthritis, and I was getting better at latte art. And I was like, if there is a time and place to do it, it's now before it progresses more. If I don't do it now, and I do it years down the road when I can't pour anymore, then what's the point? Life is short. Try to enjoy it as much as you can on the now. And so I plugged the trigger, and I'm really happy that I did.
Are you planning to pursue opening up a coffee shop in the future, or are you just going to continue with the Swamp Water Roasting? Do you want to start opening up a bigger roasting facility? What are your plans?
I see Swamp Water Roasting as Swamp Water Roasting Company's Swamp Water Coffee Shop. The goal is to get it out of the house in the next 2 years. A commercial space where I can both roast and serve coffee. A lot of people tell me, hey, you should start with a coffee cart. And I don't disagree. That's a good approach, but it doesn't work for me in Florida. It's too hot in the summer unless you want to do fully indoors.
Yeah.
I am trying to grow the roasting business so I can take it to a point where this is not capable of paying for what's next. And put a business plan together with ROI. So far, it's been good. The love that I've seen from the coffee nerd community, they're not just buying my beans, they're making videos about it.
I got yours right up here.
I see it on the back.
I'm trying to make a video.
Honestly, I feel very loved and appreciated when that happens, right? They're buying my product, but they're also supporting me by making a video. I appreciate, but I don't ask them to do that. At the very beginning, yes, I did send a few bags to friends to try to get the word out, but the word got out pretty quick and it turned into like a spiral. And man, this community is awesome.
Yeah.
The love of this community, nobody here is really trying to step into anybody's toes. Everybody's trying for everybody, or most people, right? Because we talk about the copy cutter content creators.
Yes.
But most creators and people in the coffee community are pretty nice. They know the hard work behind it. Sometimes I feel very loved because I might open my TikTok app and have 5 notifications of people posting videos with my beans. Thank you to everybody because it's been helpful to get the word out. It's not easy for a new e-commerce to get the word out. I still have 75 pounds of beans right now. have more coming my way. So, if you don't mind keep doing what you're doing, please do so. I feel like when I first started roasting, I had no idea what I was doing. I got this because a buddy of mine was getting rid of it or got another one. I didn't know what to do with it. And man, YouTube, lifesaver. Other content creators that also have the same help me. There's one guy I want to give credit to. His name is Ito, Coffee by Ito. I call him the Go, and everybody knows him like the Go. He has a quite hectic following on Instagram, and he helped me a ton understanding how to use my specific roaster because he has the same one. He helped me a ton with some profiles that were a good starting point for me to grab a new batch of beans and perfect it. Um, this all came from good-hearted people from this community is awesome, right? It's funny how much I learned. I've been roasting for about 6 months now. When it comes to roasting, it's a lot of try and error. It's very easy to go over the top and burn some beans, and you want to be careful with that because you don't want to burn your house. It's also once you do it a couple of times, you understand the stages of roasting. Your first crack, your second crack. Then you learn how to listen to the beans on the second crack. If you keep them popping for over a minute, you're going from medium to dark like that, right?
Yes.
So each beans is like slightly different, and they all have some kind of tweaks on the profiles that I use now. But my roaster is super easy to use. Once you get it right, you can automate it, and that's just repeat and repeat. I've gotten really good feedback from customers. I also have some repeatable ones now that buy my beans 2 or 4 times. There's a couple guys that bought 3 or 4 times already. So I appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed the beans that I'm putting out there. I'm trying to keep it fun because I like trying good coffee. I'm planning to have a couple drops that are new every couple months. I just brought in some beans from Bali, which
I love Bali.
I like anything in Indonesia, but these ones are really special. They're natural, fruity forward, and they can get like chocolate and caramel after a medium to a medium dark roast. But I like the fruity stuff a lot. But this specifically to combine those typical notes that you see on medium roast, which is semi-sweet chocolate and caramel notes. I'm trying to keep those light so I can bring some of the fruit out, right?
Okay.
They quickly became my favorite on the entire lineup. I just released them last week. They're called Jungle Juice. I keep the names and labels fun. The marketing I'm trying to do with Swampwater started based on my social media name, which is Centralfldude. I wanted to showcase life in Florida and me living here in Orlando. All the labels, all the content on the website, all the names, they all have a story behind it.
I actually love the tourist one with the tourist anger one that you have for one of your labels. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
You have the alligator one and then the panther. You have all different designs, which I truly love. And I was like, yep, this is definitely a Florida type of thing.
So El Turista, which is the tourist one that you just mentioned, that was a co-ferment drop. I only have 4 bags left. It sold really well. I bought about 20 pounds of it when I first got it. The name El Turista came because I'm planning to try to keep co-ferments coming. Just like a tourist, they come and go. Same with my co-ferment. So after I'm done with these 4 pounds that I have left, there will be El Turista Volume 2, Volume 3. But the name and the label will remain the same. I have my staples that I want to keep on the lineup. I wanted to showcase a little bit of Orlando, so that's why you see a little bit of rides behind the tourists. You also see a pelican pooping on their shirt because I wanted to keep it funny.
How did you come up with the names for these?
I always try to think about why, how. I might be out grabbing some food with friends and all of a sudden I see something. That's it. I live in Florida. I'm actually wearing flip-flops right now. We love in Florida flip-flop lifestyle. I had some beans from Costa Rica that needed a name, and I'm planning to keep Costa Rica on the line. I love Costa Rica sourcing. Costa Rican people, they have this saying in Spanish called pura vida, which is like their way of life and it's how they say hi to each other. So me thinking of the flip-flop lifestyle, and then them saying in Costa Rica, Pura Vida, that's how Pura Flip-Flops Vida came across. So I wanted to showcase the Florida flip-flop lifestyle. Every single one of the names and every single one of the labels, they do have a slight story behind it. I have an artist that I work with for the company logo. Most of my labels right now are AI created. I also want to get to a point where I can grow that into having the same artist that did my logo create all the labels as well.
Yeah. Do you go to any specific farm to source your beans? How did you find these connections? Where are you getting them from?
So there are multiple ways you can source directly through the farms if you are willing to work doing importing. I'm finding suppliers that have the beans already in the US, so I don't have to. I'm sampling some beans from Colombia, from a guy found me on Instagram. They were brought directly from a farm that does competition beans. He sent me some of the best beans I had. I just roasted yesterday some of them. One is a bourbon, and the other one is a natural deep geisha. This guy wants me to go with him to Colombia, to the farms where he's brought the samples back to see if we can team up and bring pounds together. When you bring directly from the farm, you also have to buy 100 pounds bags. It's green coffee. You can store it for a couple of years and it'll be fire. But it's also a lot of money to buy 100 pounds of coffee all together. You're talking about potentially $600 to $1,000 depending on what you're getting. And some beans are way more expensive, especially competition ones, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a huge risk when you buy that much volume, especially as a startup company. Right now, I have a couple suppliers where I can source bean locally and directly in the US. They sell it by the pound, which makes it easier. I try to buy in bulks of 20 or 10, depending on how many I need, because it's a little less expensive. And you also have waste, right? As a roaster, you also have to do a couple sample roastings. And that's typically what I'm using daily. If I'm sampling stuff, I'm also using that as my day. The ones that I roasted yesterday were samples, but sometimes they come a little dark or a little light, right?
Yeah.
I am picky with what I select. So, like, probably took me 3 or 4 months of trying different beans before I went live with the first lineup. I wanted to make sure when I'm putting it out there, it's something that I like. And that's why you will see a lot of South Central America sourcing on my lineup, because that's primarily my favorite type of sourcing in single origins. But I'm also not afraid of blends. Like the blend in swamp water, rider oil. It's some beans from the US actually mixed with some Indonesian beans. They're so velvety and amazing for latte art because they make that thick crema that everybody's hunting. It's an amber blend, a medium dark roast. And every person that has bought a bag of Rider Oil Blend, which is the cheapest one I sell along with Gain of Fuel, has loved it. So that makes me really happy because it makes me feel like at least my taste of coffee is not too off. But I also purchased some samples that I said to myself, yeah, this is not it. I'm not buying this.
Yeah.
I don't put a bag out there that I would not drink myself. There's always a couple beans on every roast that will come out burnt. I try to scoop them out, right? Some of my beans that will come with more shaft than others until the roaster cools off a little and drop them back on the roaster, turning it on the drum so I can get some of the out. Another thing that I'm crazy picky about was the bags that I selected. Like when I buy beans, one of the things I enjoy is opening a nicer bag. So that's why my bags are green. And that's why I'm also a little bit bigger. There are 16 ounces. Most people do 10-ounce bags. I do 12 because I know you're going to spend about 12 ounces dialing beans, specifically if you're doing espresso. So I want to make sure you enjoy your coffee. Prices might reflect that extra 2 ounces, but I try to keep it as affordable as I can. My goal is not to become rich. My goal is to make coffee as affordable as possible.
Which of the names is for swamp water roasting?
All of them were created by the concept of having a Florida focus like the decaf, fallen iguanas, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Iguanas do fall when they get sleepy because they're cold, right? It's trying to get decaf so you can go to bed. It's a hilarious name. And I personally never seen a bag with an iguana on the front. I try to be different when I create the names. That's how a lot of the names came into place. They all have a little story and they all fall in alignment on the idea that I had about some swamp water.
I figured one of them would be his mascot.
That will be Gator Fuel, right? Gator Fuel is that workhorse for me from Guatemala. Is that coffee that you will never get tired of. It's my least favorite to roast, if I'm honest, because it's so chaffy when it comes out of the roaster. It's very, very messy to roast. But it's also one you'll go back to every day. And that's why I call it Gator Fuel, just because it'll fuel your days every day.
Yeah.
Then the new ones from Bali, they're named Jungle Juice.
Love the name.
But if you take a look on the background of the image of the label, there's volcanoes and waterfalls and hibiscus flowers, just trying to bring some of that valley into the sourcing of the beans. I'm really excited about those. There has not been all attraction because I just released them, so I hope people like them as much as I do. I roasted myself a bag and I finished it in 2 days. I had some people over to try them too, and they all loved it.
Have you ever tried Kona coffee from Hawaii?
Yeah, my buddy Ian owns a roasting company. He's the one I got the roaster from. He's from Bar Coffee. He had a drop from Hawaii. I did try his Hawaii beans, and hey, look, these are ugly, but try them. They were very similar in texture as the Indonesian Valley beans that I have right now. And I feel like that's related to the volcanic soils,
Yes.
where you get that thick, velvety texture on your pools that you don't typically get from other sources.
Kona's my favorite. I like the dark chocolate flavor and the nuttiness.
It's exactly what Jungle Juice is about, with some floral and fruit. So
Yeah.
I can't have enough of it. I took it to my trip to Mississippi this past weekend and I finished it back on the road. Typically, I will stop, plug in my truck because I have an electric vehicle, and I will be making a cup of coffee. I drove so much this past weekend just to meet my buddy Derry and to meet the people from Opossum Company in person. That was so fun, by the way.
I see.
I really killed it. One pour we did first before we started shooting. When we started shooting, I couldn't get the one out at all. It was so bad. We had an idea of what we wanted to do on the content, and then we ran out of time. Then we got enough to make the content that we wanted to make. I saw the footage, and I remember mentioning we should change the approach. I told her, I'm going to make it myself, social media, and see how that goes. And the video, last time I saw it, was almost 5,000 views on Instagram. So I think that worked.
Yeah, it's good to put those bloopers in videos because people like to see the imperfections. I had a couple of bloopers when I was saying, instead of banana Foster, I was saying banana Forester for a drink. I put that blooper up and people would start dying laughing.
Yeah. To me, it was very special. Like, there is a good friend of mine. I feel like I became a better content creator ever since I started talking to Dario. If there's anyone that I want to shout out today as a content creator, that will be her. I feel like she's been killing it. She's someone that I respect a lot on her skill levels and how passionate she is about coffee. And we were pulling shots back to back, steam and mill back to back, creating that little video that most people seen by now, where we had a good rhythm. We were laughing all the way through. I have an amazing time with her. And the people from Opossum Company opened the doors to us and Lucidell Coffee House. They own a coffee shop and have their roasting business. I collaborated with them months ago before I became a roaster. Darren collaborated with them too. I wanted to see the owner, John, to see what the next step looks like, to pick his brain on tricks and what he does. I feel like I've been doing some things right, but also some things that I could probably approach a different way. And
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the specific of our conversation because that's a lot of what he does on his business, but It was a really eye-opening trip for me as a micro roaster to see how did he got to the point where he is now roasting commercially for coffee shops and hotels and trying to grow their online business. Super nice people behind the brand. I cannot have fun with someone that loves everything about coffee. They opened the doors to us to come hang out with them and show us a little bit of what they do. They have a good thing going, both on their coffee shop. It's a small town, but their coffee shop was knocking drinks out of the door back to back. Always fun to see how they're managing their business. It's also fun to see what we do as a content creator. They're working with some other creators. We're trying to absorb what they're doing, but also for them that we're trying to absorb what Terry and I do from content creator perspective. I had an amazing time and posted that video and the comments were, wait, where was my invitation? A lot of people have been asking, hey, we should do a meetup and meet all together. We support other content creators on TikTok and Instagram. You talk to these people mostly every day. You comment on their videos mostly every day, but you never met these people in person.
Yeah.
Then I saw somebody else posting a video saying, hey, what do y'all think about doing a meetup? It felt good to inspire people and collab because I met a couple creators. I go to Canada often to see my partner who lives there. And I've done collabs with this guy called Jordan. He's awesome. I love him to death. And I feel collabs are important as a creator. Collabs like for business, in my opinion.
So doing these collabs definitely helps bringing those people, those target audience to your platform and yours to his platform. That's the greatest thing about being in this space where we get to collaborate and have fun. I've done plenty of collabs with other content creators. I got some of their followers follow me because we did a collab, and some of my followers follow them. So it helps each other out to build our social media platform and our brand all together, which is totally amazing. I would love to do a collab with you when I go to Florida at some point and you have your new coffee shop. I'm definitely coming over to do a full video and everything and a collab with you 100%.
And
I go to Florida all the time.
the door of my house is always open. I've met like a few people. Like I think I've done 3 collabs with creators so far. And a lot of them, like I met one of my friends, AJ, we went to Coffee Fest together. He lives in Tampa. I initially told him, hey, I want to go to this thing called Coffee Fest. You should go if you're really interested in coffee or based on what you do. And then we went together, gave him a couple tips on what I do and how I do it. Now his content is doing better. I'm happy to see that little tips I was able to give him helped. Meeting people in person is way better.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it more fun and interesting. I have fun when I do collabs with other people. I'm definitely going to Florida next year. So hopefully by next year, you have something going on over there in Central Florida.
Hope that people keep loving Swamp Water and support Swamp Water that we have so far. I thank everybody that has purchased a bag from me because I'm still trying to get this business going. We've been live since November, so it's been less than 3 months. I'm happy to see that everybody seems to be enjoying it and the time and effort that I take to every single one of those bags. Because it's not just right. You also got to put them on a bag, label them, print the labels, write a thank you card. I like to take my time to write a personal thank you card to every single person that has taken the time to try us out. And then the best part is when you get to drive it to the post office and drop them because they're on their way to make somebody's cup. And I just really hope that everybody's enjoying the coffee that I'm trying to put out there because I'm not trying to pick the cheapest beans out there. I'm not the cheapest roaster out there. And that's fine. If you buy a bag of beans from me, it's something that you will enjoy. Every time I see someone reaching out to me because they're interested in trying decaf for the first time, I try to explain, hey, if you never dial decaf, you probably should know it's a lot harder and you need to, sometimes grinder cannot handle it, right? So I try to take my time to educate people. A lot of people reach me out, hey, I want to try your beans. What should I try? So I like to ask a few questions like, hey, what do you like it more on the fruity side? Do you like it more acidic? Do you like them more darker? What kind of notes do you enjoy? So I can then help you suggest. And my goal is to include that on a little quiz on my website.
Definitely.
You can answer a few questions and like.
People don't really have the knowledge or understanding on what they want for a coffee. What's the best for this and that? Having a questionnaire and better understanding the purpose of those coffee beans of using it for a drip, AeroPress, pour over, French press. There's so many different ways of doing it. People are getting espresso machines and using store-bought coffee. That's not the way you're supposed to use an espresso machine. You need freshly roasted beans to give you that perfect cup of coffee.
People have asked me, are you going to sell? If you go on my website, you can't really select. They're all whole beans, right?
Yeah.
You can ask me in the end, would you mind grinding it for me? I probably will, but it defeats the purpose of trying to buy beans fresh for espresso or for specialty coffee. If you're trying to buy coffee that's fresh, the minute you grind it, it's not going to be fresh 3-4 days after. With the grinder, you understand not everybody has a grinder, but you also need to understand if you're going to grind the coffee that's fresh, then you also need a vacuum seal container, right?
Yes.
Again, something you can always reach out on the website and say, hey, I want to order it back from you. There's a contact tab. From my perspective, it defeats the point of buying fresh beans. And I understand most roasters offer it too, but I'm just trying to keep it real.
Keep it fresh, perfect for the customer.
Yep.
What is your go-to way of making your coffee? Do you like espresso, AeroPress?
Yeah, espresso.
Espresso for sure. That was number one.
Lately, I've been really into making pour-overs, especially when I'm trying new coffee beans. If I get a new bag today or a sample sent to me, I will first see how they dial for espresso, then how they taste. Then I will taste that with a cortado, a flat white, and a latte. Flat whites are my favorite. I think flat whites are the perfect balance between milk and coffee. Some people prefer smaller drinks like cortados. After I'm done with the espresso pooling, I try them as an iced latte, then as an Americano, and finally as a pour over.
Okay.
When I first tried coffee beans, pour over is the first thing. I feel pour over is the easiest way to actually taste the notes you're trying to taste.
I love pour overs, just tasting those notes. They're so good. And just drinking it black, I learned how to appreciate the pour over and tasting the notes of the fresh beans.
But you also need a good pour over recipe because you put too little water at the bloom, you're changing the entire taste, right?
Now that we're getting close to the end of this podcast, is there anything that you want to let our listeners know on where to find you and what social media outlets you're in?
Yeah, so I'm both on TikTok and Instagram, Centralfl for Florida, dude, all together, one word. Same username for both Instagram and TikTok. If you want to give me a follow, I appreciate it. You can also reach me through Swampwater Roasting on our website, swampwaterroasting.com. There's a contact tab in there, and all the beans and lineups are also listed there.
I'll have all his social media handles and his tags right down below. Follow him. He's got some great artwork, really good coffee beans, really nice guy. Thank you for joining us in the podcast. It was great to get to know you and understand your whole story and your future of what's going on with Swampwater Roasting and how it's going to progress for the next couple of years. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I'll be glad to welcome everybody on the store. Definitely a dream of mine to get this out of the house where I'm doing everything into a commercial space. And I think that's ultimately the goal. One of the things I would like to do is organize a space where I can also provide classes for latte and even roasting, right? Definitely trying to grow this into a platform where it's not just a coffee shop and a roasting business, but something where I can use the skills that took time and effort for me to research.
I'm looking forward to you having all that and making sure that dream comes true. I would love to be there and be a part of that experience with you.
Thank you.
That's today's episode of Behind the Roast. Big thanks to Unay from Swampwater Roasting for pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to operate in specialty coffee. If you enjoyed this episode, support your local coffee shops, follow the creators and roasters pushing the craft forward, and subscribe so you don't miss the next conversation. Until next time, keep brewing better.